Okay, thank you one and all for joining. This is the AIE working group call. The agenda, I will put it into the chat so folks can see it if they don't have the invite link to hand. And yeah, like I was saying just before we started the recording, the first item on the agenda is a comment that I've just put up onto fans VEP. Let me share this tab instead. I've had to apologize for doing it after all the work that you've put in, Fan, to the VEP. But yeah, a few of us at Red Hat have discussed this, and just to kind of ease the whole process along a little bit and to get this enhancement merged ahead of the freeze next week. We think it would be beneficial if we just simplified aspects of the enhancement and remove some of the kind of nitty gritty details and just kept it a little bit generic and try to align around this inference first kind of design principle that we have that we'd like to go forward with at least. I've only just posted it 28 minutes ago. You've already put a thumbs up. Yeah, I just want to check. Are you okay with that? Have you got any concerns with that approach? Is there anything we can help with, obviously, as well, ahead of the deadline with that?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments. I think it's very valuable and totally makes sense. So I am going to refine the VP and to make it the contract focused. So reducing the details and then making the VP focus on the KubeVirt guarantees to the guests on the grace and what the phase one included and what phase two differ. And I will tighten the boundary and the dependence on the web 115 and 266. I just don't have yeah I just one I have one question. Oh yeah, open question for the phase one in the VP the web. Um, would it be better to illustrate or we focus on the GI and NUMA distance narrative to the current to the deterministic guest mode rather than the file system inference approach? But totally agree. The right term, the destination should be we honor the file inference approach.
I think the feeling on our side is that we should try and start with the inference approach, with the file system based kind of probing, because that is what we have working on our 1.8 branch. And Federico and Vladik, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think most of it we do have. We don't have NUMA distances and things like that, but that appears, at least to me, to be trivial to do initially without having to go through that initial phase of going through annotations and stuff, if that's what you're suggesting. But Vladik, Federico, keep me honest there. That is correct, right?
Yeah, from my point of view, yes. I mean, I think this addition is beneficial, definitely. But I think from my point of view, it could be done automatically. I, I don't see why would we need at this point like a manual control over this. If we do need this, like going forward, we could definitely add this and think about how adding this. But I mean, in reality of things is that when people need to control so many VMs and so many such large deployments, I think it's just KubeVirt is overall. That was our philosophy, that we need to make KubeVirt smart enough to to do the right choices and to do the right configurations, and not to force users into this problematic state where they have to configure everything. This is just uh, less beneficial for them. I would go with inference first. and then see how to enhance.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with the inference first. But what I think is for the phase one, the GI generation. So I know, yeah, maybe I missed something. So correct me if I'm wrong. So I noticed the IOMMU FD and the GI generation in the KubeVirt IIE. I think it's mostly working for the Grace Hopper. Grace Hopper is a different architecture than the Grace Blackwell. Grace Hopper is one CPU, one CPU, one GPU mode. However, for the Grace Blackwell, it has one CPU, two GPUs. So the topology is a bit complicated. And on the Grace Blackwell, we need eight GPU, eight Newman nodes, additional to the CPU Newman nodes. And all of them should be arranged in a fine way. Because the Grace Blackwell also support the not only GI for the GPU Newman node, but also support the new memory plugin Newman nodes. So that would be a range. I'm not sure this use case is covered in the auto generation manner. You have a,
Well, it should be. I think we do that.
okay. Okay, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
And then,
sorry, go
yeah.
on. I don't.
No, I'm just thinking that yeah, we did confirm this on Blackwell as well. But yeah, I mean, even going forward, if the different logics of um, different logics of different topologies, I mean, we need to be able to transparently handle this within the launcher. So I think the extension would be that, like the way I see it, yes, we have the Blackwell. We could see, we can infer all of this information from the node, and then things that are, we don't, maybe too privileged, or some information is lacking. Maybe we could provide it through a device plugin, but I think we are not there yet. I think this case is covered.
Okay, okay. So, and for the NUMA distance, do you also cover the NUMA distance?
No. So I think this part is we can so we need to add this part that we don't have that in the AIE, but yeah, we need to add this. But that's again, I think that's something that we can just read and correctly generate.
Yeah, as far as I could tell, that is something that we can infer. Um, I was a bit confused because there is with the NVIDIA driver that you can turn off all of those NUMA nodes from being visible at the host level, but we're not going through it, so they should be visible. And as far as I could tell, the distance should be readable as well. But we yeah, like Vladdy said, we haven't added that to our AIE branch at the moment, and we've been struggling with the Kubernetes topology manager issue that you fixed fan upstream, getting that backported and unblocking our testing downstream. So we haven't got that far yet.
Okay, yeah. So I think that yeah, the NUMA distance is very important and critical for the CUDA drivers running the VM on the Grace system, because there the in the guest to the guest view, it has all the ACPI NUMA nodes to it. So the CUDA driver will treat all the NUMA nodes if the by default the distance are the same. So that will causing some problems. Traditional applications running on the NUMA, the GPU NUMA nodes. So that will be a problem. So the making it a distance. Currently, we recommend using the sophisticated arranged distance attributes to attach to the NUMA nodes, so that the driver and the guest kernel will will pick out will pick out the proper one for different workloads. So that's the value of the distance.
Yeah, of course, Yeah, that's something that we need to add. That's easy to add, but I think we need to do it on the during the implementation phase. Here we just want to say that. I mean, here we just need to mention that this is going to happen, but I don't think that we need to um, go into details of how this is going to be done, because that's just something that will need to be added.
Okay. So are you feel comfortable? Do you feel comfortable to put these ones into the phase one as well?
I think it's pretty limited. Like a limited edition. From my point of view, I think we can add this to phase one. I don't know what other things.
I think this makes sense. And EGM and all that stuff kind of being separate. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely have NUMA distancing in phase one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, another thing is in the I think I proposed alpha solutions on top of the file system inference. We wanted to make it open to an override option using annotation. Does that make sense to you?
I think, as Vladik was saying before, if we start with inference and then if there is a justification for overriding, we could add that potentially later, but we kind of want to start with the inference first kind of model. Because what's the justification from your side for allowing these overrides? Like when would the overrides be required potentially?
Yeah, so for example, I'm not sure if you have tested on the GB200. On the GB200, if you pass through 4 GPUs and 4 NICs to the single VM, typically the inference from our observation, typically the inferenced calculated PCIe hole 64 hole is not sufficient. For example, if you reading that from the bar size and calculate that, that would be around 2 TB. However, in our practice, 2 TB is not sufficient. We must bump that to the next level, 4 TB. So that's a practical experience. That's why we wanted to make it override.
Okay, could be, but I'm just from a user perspective. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I agree that we can provide an override here, but I'm just find it so difficult to understand if we don't know how to do it. Like, how would the user know?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be the first API, but we should allow the escape hatch because we saw the problems, Vladik, with other GPUs in the past as well, right?
Well, not specifically, because I mean there was a problem with alignment, and that's the reason why the GPU hole wasn't calculated correctly. But I mean, I don't have a problem with providing an override. I think it could be reasonable in this case, but I find it again very difficult to put it on the user, right? I mean, we should know our system. We should know how this behaves, and then therefore we should know how to configure this. And this putting it on the user, it's like pushing away responsibility, which I really don't understand why would we want that. Maybe what we need to do is to go back and see why the PCI hole is not being correctly calculated. What else should we do to make it better? Maybe there are other dependencies. Maybe there are other other ways to calculate this than what I did, like what we did in that model. But again, like I find that that would be the first problem for many users.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I think, yeah, generally, I think the PCIe 64 hole, the larger won't be harmless, won't be harm, right?
Do you mean hard coding it to be that large all the time or something? Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, I'm saying it's harmless to making a larger values. So for the GB200 and the 300, so our practice number is 4 TB is recommended for 4 GPUs. And for the 300, if you pass through four GPUs, you have to using 8 TB. So that's our practice in testing on NVIDIA side. So that's a number we write in the document and share with the customers.
Yeah, but so these are things that I mean we can set as as a user guide. I mean it's I'm not entirely sure if we should put such values in the repo. I think that we can document them, like, hey, if something is not working, you can try with this one, with using this sort of algorithm. But yeah, I will not put them directly as a constant in the code base.
Well, but to Vladik's point, like that, the UX for that is then pretty horrid, right? Like you're expecting people to go and discover that's the documentation and to then apply the workaround, when really it should be like I know having a constant in the code base isn't great for this, but if it's a constant in the code base with a fix me or something next to it saying like this needs to be revisited and eventually inferred correctly, like at least it's on us to then fix. And that initial, it's not on the customer, it's not on the end user then to go and figure this stuff out. It should be right, and eventually we will just calculate it right. But in the meantime, there's no additional action required. Like I'm not arguing against having the escape hatches in general. Like if things like this are going to be a problem, but for known kind of best practices, like I'd rather carry it in the code for a short time.
I mean, I will suggest to, in order, since time is running out, about the web, the web that we need to merge before next week. I would like to suggest to just, maybe say something like there could be a mechanism to override or to introduce such constant for the PCI 64 whole calculation. Details can be discovered on the implementation phase, just to and not be stuck on such things, in the web. I mean, just in the web.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, any other comments, questions, or anything with the VERP? And Fan, sorry, did you were you also making proposals to the PCI numeralware topology VEP as well, or is that all just going to be within this VEP, all the references to that?
Yeah, so I think I think I covered some of the PCIe topology enhancement in the Web 1.1.199. Do you want me to extend the extend the PCIe topology part in the 199 as well?
No. I couldn't recall if you were also going to kind of suggest a modification to the other VEP as well as your changes in yours, but it's fine in yours and just in yours. Like, yeah, we don't need to complicate this any further. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Like, yeah, given the agreement that we just had to simplify everything, and there's me complicating it. Apologies. Okay, so the only other topic that I had, Fan, you'd reached out on upstream Slack, and apologies for not responding there, about potentially getting commit access to the 1.7 branch that you'd been using for your downstream changes to upstream them. I'm more than happy to do that. I have a project in for a pull request, but I just need you to be a member of the community. So there's an org member. So there's a link there, the first link, that will take you through the process to submit a PR, and you then need a couple of what's the word I'm looking for here? Sponsors that I'm sure folks on this call will jump at. But I will, and we can definitely get someone else. And at that point, we'll get you added as a member, and at that point, I can then add you as a maintainer for the AIE project, and you'll have commit access and push access to that branch.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, appreciate.
No problem at all. Just don't push to the 1.8 branch, and we'll be fine. Or force push, I should say. Yeah, I don't think I can define it per branch. So yeah, you will have push access to both. But yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any other topics for today?
No, just I think just in the interest of time, we need to wrap this web as fast as possible, and that's it. my final say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, Fan, if you can make those changes, I forget which time zone you're in, but if you have any more time today or tomorrow, I'll be working tomorrow. Vladek is online tomorrow as well, hopefully. So, and others as well. So we can definitely review as soon as you're ready and you've refined it and simplified it, and hopefully, yeah, we can get it merged as early as possible ahead of the deadline and the craziness that will definitely follow.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I will modify it today and try make it as soon as possible. So yeah, I just want to one thing want to clarify. Do I have to mention the scope of the phase 2 in this fab, or just the phase 1?
I would say you don't have to. You could just vaguely said what is going to follow, but it doesn't like. I don't think it needs an advertisement of what's coming. We could just focus on phase 1, and then whenever we're ready with phase 2, we'll just post a new web explaining what is going to happen in phase 2.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining. Yeah, if there are any issues, Fan, just reach out upstream on IRC and Slack, not IRC. Sorry, God, I'm old. And yeah, catch you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.